Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum
Oh,
bum
man,
bum bum.
Man,
Man, man, man, man, man, man. Bum 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 bum.
Go on, let's join in. Man, bum, bum, bum. Bash Bros.
So make sure you subscribe to our channel, Bash Bros, for more content.
Make sure you like and subscribe and put those notifications on.
Or the booger man will get you.
I'm not fucking about.
God.
Okay, welcome back to Bash Bros episode number 46. We are without the main man, Jonathan Reed. So I am the host today, accompanied by my lovely accomplice, Dan McNabb, Geraint Harris, and we are joined today by a special guest, Rachael OKeefe, another Welshie. So Dan, you're even more outnumbered here. So thank you
This
very
has
much.
happened a lot. This has happened a lot.
Rachel, thank you very much for coming on. I've just realised, Geraint, very unprofessional of me. I don't have Instagram tabs up at all. So, Rachel, I'll just boot your Instagram up now.
Okay.
Do you know how to do this?
Thank you.
I mean, given that the progression Rachel has made, let's be honest, how can they not know who she is at the moment?
No, but I want everyone to see.
But they might not have known who she was.
Who she was. Oh,
Yeah, they'd be like, who's this fucking
Animal.
stone weakling?
Do you know what's weird is though, you've all of you guys have seen me from the bikini days.
Yes, yes.
Like in person. So you know how tiny I was.
You were small even for a bikini.
Yeah. I was like 45 kilos.
Well, you were small just for a person in general. So like,
Yeah.
Just a small
general
person. Pathetic. But now look at you. A chiseled god. Made from iron and brawn.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the Welsh 2018, and there was some little 4-stone Ewok, and she was pumped up, and I was chatting some shit.
Yeah, I remember
backstage, as I usually do, yeah, I did not know we were about to see the change of ridiculousness. If I could have made the gains that you made in that time, I'd be pretty fucking happy. And I definitely have not, unfortunately. Jesus Christ, what are the dogs doing?
Okay, I've eventually got Rachel's profile up.
Oh yeah.
We'll try and do the screen share now. I'm an amateur at this. So
Hey, take your time, bud. Take your time.
Yeah, like you did, Geraint. Oh, jump on now. Fucking penis.
But honestly, I tried signing as a host, but I don't know. It's just done like me.
Can you see this? Is it
Yeah.
Okay, so Rachel, this is yourself. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
This is you getting a pasting from McNabb, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing some sessions with Dan this off season.
Did you show Dan how to train legs?
Absolutely.
So what are you guys working on then? Because obviously you're both or Dan, even you're training Rachel. What
There
are
you
you
are.
working on?
That's quite the transformation.
I think we got some even better ones on you somewhere.
From Geordie
there's
Shore
some
to
extreme
Geordie
ones.
Raw. Geordie Raw. There's one there.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best ones.
Yeah.
But
it somehow makes your head look big. where you've just grown into your head.
I'm sure you got slightly taller.
I never intended, like, honestly, when I started that off season, I never intended of going that far with it. Like, I kind of just took some time off, started to see my shape change. And the intention was to just do figure. And then I started doing women's physique poses and they just fit. And my physique just looked better for that class. I just grew too much.
God, that must be terrible. That sounds awful. How did you ever cope?
We all dread getting size.
Yeah, I just woke up one day and I was just too massive.
Yeah, because Rachel, I remember. Well, we'll get on to some questions in a minute, but I remember I was working with you, wasn't I, at the
Yeah,
the 24-hour
back
gym
in
in
the
town.
day.
I remember you were eating. Your portions were bigger than mine, so I can remember sitting there eating my either my chicken and rice or my oats. So I can remember looking at you and you eating even more than I was, and you just sat there. And I could tell you were struggling, but every time you got your meals in. So where did that kind of motivation come from for you? Because that's kind of not your everyday girl that decides to sort of force feed. Especially where you came from as well, you know, quite a small, petite bikini girl.
Yeah.
What sort of sparked the light for you to then really push up?
Well, it's a mixture of things, really, mainly from my coach. So obviously Mike and Lisa.
Yep.
You know, I sat down with her and she was like, if you really want to do this and you really want to progress, because I was so small, I had no structure, it was hard for me to see it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was just a case of you have to knuckle down and do this. So we had to get the weight on me to be able to even get any muscle in the first place. Now though, I'm not really force feeding so much anymore because I feel like I can't even say my body's just responding better than it was at the start. So I'm not really having to push like disgusting amounts, just eating regularly. And if I feel like I'm full, I kind of stop because I feel like my body knows when it's too much. You know what I mean?
How did you initially get over the sort of weight gain? Because I know plenty of girls on social media. I know plenty of girls myself in person that really struggle in terms of allowing themselves to accrue some body fat and eat more food and stuff. Like, did you ever struggle with that, or was it something that you just sort of got on with?
Do you know what? Because I didn't really know when I went from bikini into figure, I didn't really know what to expect. So I just got on with it. I didn't really care. I've always been quite confident anyway, so it's never really bothered me. What I look like to other people hasn't really bothered me. Right. But looking back now, like I was quite overweight. I feel
when I was working with you, you were a big girl.
I was fat. I was fat. So I think that was too far looking back on it. And I think maybe if I'd gone a little bit, I feel like I could have controlled it a little bit more. So now I am never like, I don't feel like in your off season, you need to go that far out.
But I think, Dan, and this is something you've touched on though, isn't it? Like, once in your life you kind of need to do a big push.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So like I had to do it to get that initial muscle on, but now I'd quite happy. I need to stay kind of, you know, within reason. So
yeah, I mean, I think that finding that new limit as well, even just getting your body used to carrying the new weight, like even just getting used to just living with that, sleeping with that, like is an adaptation. Now this is like body specific. Like if we said this before, if you're naturally a fat person, you need to stay lean. If you're naturally a lean person, you can afford to push those body fat levels. You know, if you're naturally a fat person, you can't just smash on loads of weight, because on the way back down it'll be so hazardous to your muscle retention. But for someone like me, and obviously for Rachel, it turns out like you do have to dip in and get pretty ugly in the you know, like it doesn't it a lot of people do need to do that. But it's again, people think that one thing rules there, or you shouldn't get too heavy in the off season, you shouldn't do this and that, and it's like, yeah, for some and some for the other and stuff like that. Like no one's ever been, oh, you're really heavy off season, Dan, so you never come in shape on a show. It's like that's not what's happening. So play to your strengths.
Yeah, I don't think it's, you know, one rule fits all at all. But what I don't like is people using the off season as an excuse to just get fat, and then they call it off season fluff. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that especially with women, it goes down to just having a really bad relationship with food, and then like justifying eating absolute dog shit. You know, there is, you know, off-season stuff. I mean, I don't eat cheat meals anyway, but there is a difference in the gains that you make when you're eating hydrogenated fat, processed foods, like loads of shit and chemicals like washed down with it, between just eating your staples. It does. I think it does make a difference. I think you can eat your baseline and have a bit of shit on top, but the main percentage needs to be the best quality ways of getting those nutrients as you can. Blending Pop-Tarts leave that for the strong men.
Why would you ruin a Pop-Tart by blending it down?
See, that's where I'm lucky. I've always been taught to just eat clean foods.
Yeah.
So I've never, even when I did put on that like initial weight sort of about 2 years ago now, it was, I wasn't eating shit, and I've never been one to just eat crap. So I don't think, and I think I've always had a meal plan, and a lot of people do like, if it fits your macros, things like that. But for me, I believe you can tell the difference between a physique that's eating, high quality foods and a physique that just tries to cram in like 5 cornettos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
So in terms of your history and how you started, what age did you start sort of training then? And was that through sport, or because you weren't exactly a big muscular girl to start with? So where did that come from?
So I'd always done like sport, as in, I did a lot of cross country in school, so a lot of like endurance sport. So I've always been quite dedicated to something in that respect, like an athlete mindset. I started the gym when I was 16, but it was just, the standard treadmill, just on the bike. I wasn't doing weights.
47 hours on the stairs.
Yeah. I wanted a thigh gap. I wanted to be,
How's that going now?
Now I want like no thigh gap. Need to be massive.
What horrific chafing.
It's really bad in this heat.
We just want rashes, just loads of horrible rashes.
It's horrible.
Living on baby powder.
I mean, I'm not the greatest legged man alive, but fuck me, I've like into putting some gel on these motherfuckers at the end of the day. They've literally, it's like the skin's turned to like rhino skin.
It's
It's completely different type.
Like I can't wear shorts because it just it kills.
Like all leather done. Their legs like all leather.
Yeah, leather would be good. Some of those wet look leggings, I think I'd look pretty cool in those. I mean, one point that I didn't.
Well done.
What?
Especially with the earrings as well.
With the earrings?
Yeah.
Mate, I pierced these myself when I was 14. I've changed them a couple of times, but I just don't even think about them. So, remember when people say, I want to be like you, but I don't want to be too big? And, like, it happened. And, like, you're like, don't worry, it won't happen accidentally. For Rachel, it kind of did. So, it's probably the first
It was, yeah.
First example of that. I don't want to get too big. Shit.
It was really weird. Like, something just clicked. I got to a point where I just saw my physique. Do you know what I mean? You just see it like mature and develop. And I knew that first, like, just bigger wasn't going to be an option.
But also,
and I'm glad.
Genetics. Like, people think, like, show a picture of when they were like 8 years old and be like, see, I had no genetics and stuff like that. And if you showed someone your bikini picture and be like, do I have the genetics to put on loads of muscle? Everyone would have been like, no. But you have to realize your genetics. You have to actually like find them. Everyone thinks like people are just born with like cat delts, but like that's not what genetics is about. Look at pictures of Dorian back in the day, he was skinny as fuck. Like, you have to actually realize your genetics. People like, one thing that fucks me off probably the most, although it's cyclical, everything fucks me off eventually, is people being like, see, no genetics. It's like, you're fucking 7 years old. Like, what were you expecting to happen? I mean, it looks like it did feed you some food, so
yeah.
Like, and also, Rachel, I think you're doing yourself a disservice in terms of how hard you train as well. I think Lisa taking you under her wing from the start, you could tell that because you were training in a commercial gym, and you were the type of like normally it's some bloke that gets the look of everyone thinking who's this psycho, but it was you training like hard as fuck and making all the noise and slinging weights around. And I remember people being like, who's this nutter? And that's when you were quite small as well. Like you were still pretty small, but you were training like a, you know.
But that's the thing. I've trained like a bodybuilder when I was a bikini athlete.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what you've got to do. You've got to train and eat for the body you want, not for the body you have.
Yeah. So when we're saying that you kind of accidentally got big, I think we are also forgetting how hard you train and also the fact that you did push food quite extensively. So
yeah, and I understand, but I get where Dan's coming from with, you know, I did get to a point where now I've slightly changed my training style again. I'm kind of, you know, not, you know, I'm still obviously, you know, dedicated to my meals a day, blah, 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 but I'm not pushing as excessively as I was, and I'm still growing.
Rach, have you done your hair in a way that you could scoop the side next to your microphone back?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
because
very nicely said, Dan. I'm glad.
It's quite rustly.
Is that what
sorry.
it was?
Do you want me to?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It's that, is it?
It's the hair on the headphones.
Yeah.
I thought it like a pet.
I think you can let it drop.
Yeah, it will be, but you'll be really annoyed holding it there the whole time.
Yeah, and I think you can still let it drop if the hair's out
Is
of the way.
that better?
I normally do a trick. I just pull it forward a bit, like
Oh, that looks great.
I don't think you got.
Yeah, Rachel's really put her face on to come on here so she can fucking hold her like.
It's all right. I can take the headphones off. Is that all right?
It's fine now.
Perfect, though. Yeah.
It's fine now. It's just if the hair's like rubbing against it, that's all.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I just thought, yeah, then you know when like the fridge is on and you don't realise,
And it's like,
and now I can't hear anything else. All right, back. Sorry.
continue.
So future goals for you now, Rachel. What like where are you at now? And then where are you going to be at in what's your goals in the next sort of few years?
So, well, I'm 23 now. So, I would like to think that before I'm 30, I would be competing at the Olympia. That's the goal. You know, I want to be in the pro league because at the end of the day, I think I don't do this to just be average at it. Do you know what I mean? I don't sacrifice the things I've sacrificed to just be okay at something. I really want to progress and take it all the way. So,
and anyone who says that they're not trying to do that is full of shit.
Yeah. And
what I really want to do is just bump. What I really want to do is just bump around the top 6 at a regional for my life.
Yeah, I don't get the people that just sort of go to. Well, obviously, you need the people that go to make numbers because you wouldn't have shows. But I don't.
Some people just fucking love it. Some people actually just love it. Some people.
Hold on.
But some people just love competing, love getting on stage, love that whole thing. I don't fucking get that.
Do you think are those the type of people that never like excelled in sport when they were younger, things like that?
I think maybe people, you know, the 15 minutes of fame thing.
Yeah, and quite often those people aren't sort of competitive sportsmen or anything like that.
Yeah, but I don't
like,
know. I've never been a competitive sportsman. I was quite good at drinking.
Competitive drinker then?
Yeah. Maybe that was the competitive streak. And I think what Rachel's saying as well, and this is something that ties in quite quickly to probably what people are thinking, is women sacrifice more, potentially, also if they're exploring performance enhancing drugs, which are ultimately male hormones. Like a lot of girls now are reaching for these things, you know, because they're tablets, so they're fine because they look like your doctor would give them to you, and they're willing to do all that for like nothing to obtain a physique that they could do with just some extra hard work.
Yeah.
And so I think that to do all that and to make those sacrifices, to not try and go all the way to the top, I think you've got the right mindset. Why would you do all that? Take those risks, even as I mean, I'm older now, so if the younger self would be like, don't do this and stuff like that. Like, unless you're going to be a competitive bodybuilder of any kind, you you shouldn't be touching fucking anything.
Yeah. And exactly, we were chatting about it the other day, weren't we, when training. I just think if I didn't feel like I had the genetics and I had the potential, and that's not being cocky, you know, it's, if I didn't think I had that and I had the grit in me to take it there, there's no way I'd be doing things I'm doing. No way.
Yeah.
You know, or do something else.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, it's an extreme sport at the end of the day. It's not a joke. It you know, and it's not the same as doing bikini, is it? It's a completely different sport.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, some of the physique guys now are massive, but the old school physique guys, it's something that you could do without. I mean, and then I still every time I think of any different category, I just think of fucking Bumface, Chris Bumstead, and just think, how is he? He's a massive super heavyweight bodybuilder, just wearing trunks. He must have just had all of his bones just removed. I don't know. Every time I think of a different category, I just think of him and just think, how the fuck does he make weight? I just don't understand.
Yeah, because he turned pro as a super heavyweight, didn't he?
Is that true? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
he did. He turned pro as a super heavyweight bodybuilder. Yeah.
Really, Molnar's just did that as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he
just shows the difference between like the pro league and the amateurs, which I think is kind of stupid.
But it's stupid because they want a specific look in the amateur league for you to turn pro, but then once you turn pro, they're after something completely different. Then.
Yeah. Oh, you're shit again.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well done for fulfilling the criteria.
Like in classic, and the amateurs at the moment, they seem to go for slightly smaller, more conditioned guys.
Yeah.
And then, but then once they all turn pro, they're tiny, and then they're opting for the bigger guys. Whereas the bigger guys that don't turn pro would probably be better suited getting the cards because they'll be more competitive when they do. I think Ryan Cartwright's a prime example of that.
And Jason want to say the same thing.
He was denied a fair few times, and obviously I know I'm part of Team Natty, so I am gonna back Bob Waterhouse. But Ryan was more ready to turn pro at that show than Bob was, and they still gave it to Bob. You know, and then Ryan. Luckily, Ryan did get it that season, but I think I can see his disappointment, and I can see why there was some confusion with that as well.
I just think it's. Go on, sorry, Dan.
No,
go on.
You're the guest. I chat shit for time.
No, I was just gonna say. I think there's
that kind, Dan.
He's such a gentleman.
I'm such a gent. What can I say?
He is that old school. No, I just think it's a mistake to think that classic is just. I think in the UK, people think it's a small bodybuilder.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's a look, and you can't. It's the old school look, and I think we've gotten into a habit of just. Guys, like I'm not big enough yet, so I'll do classic.
Yeah, the problem with that is it's 100% true, but I think some shows it's actually being rewarded though, and like there are people turning pro or people doing well at shows when all they are is a smaller bodybuilder. There's not really an awful lot classic about them. So it's not
evolutions.
It's not the competitor's fault, really, is it? It's more
because
it's the evolutions of loads of things. Look at like not back in the day, but like kind of say the 2000s or something. Early 2000s. The bikini girls were pretty big.
Yeah,
and the look was quite like round and like kind of more towards wellness than obviously wellness is now. They tried to do something and now it's fucking ridiculous with like Urishna and shit. But like they've never quite managed to patch it right, have they? And so it's just a weird thing. At least with us bodybuilders, we're like, cool, be massive and ripped. Okay.
Yeah, and see that's partly why. Obviously, I did women's physique, and I think after having a conversation with Lisa, we said to now just take the appropriate amount of time off and move up is because there is no limit. There is no limit in women's bodybuilding. You're not trying to fit. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're not, there isn't a cap.
No,
you're not like at one point like
big as you can, get as lean as you can.
Yeah, because the criteria is of a bodybuilder. So you're not like, I need to be a little bit softer on the glutes and a bit. No, it's just, round muscle bellies, shredded, conditioned, nice symmetry, proportion, standard.
Corinne seemed to get completely fucked for that like all the time. They were like, "Can you just come in a bit worse?"
Yeah.
That must be really hard though, isn't it? When you've got to fit a criteria, it's like, oh well, push for condition, but not too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, mentally, when you're training and you're thinking you're going to bring this certain physique, mentally, it can fuck you up big time. Do you know what I mean?
What was that?
Oh, sorry, the dog. Do you want to go?
Is
Do you want to go
Abe
to fucking
talking,
bed?
Dan?
Abe's not happy.
I took you out, mate. You can sit the fuck down.
You sit you down.
So, Rach,
Yeah,
that
he's
is
gonna sit
the goal
me
now.
down, send me-
Women's
I'm sorry.
bodybuilding, yeah.
That is, yeah. And do you know what? I think in the back of my mind, even when I first started, that's kind of always been what I've wanted to do, whether or not I've said it out loud, but it's always been in my mind that that's kind of where I wanted to take it. You know, I've always had the kind of extreme personality, and I don't like to do half measures. So I like to take things as far as I can possibly go within reason.
Well, the fact that you're still so young and you've made that decision gives you a lot of time. I think plenty of women don't make that decision until quite later on, because normally it is a progressive thing, isn't it? Most people don't. Most women certainly don't just go, "Oh, I want to be a woman's bodybuilder."
No.
Yeah, and I think it's quite frustrating because I'm still young. When I have that conversation with certain people, they're always like, I don't know if they mean it, but it's that sort of patronizing tone of like, "Oh, are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah.
You know, because there are obviously, you know, let's be blunt about it. There's massive sacrifices you make for that class.
Yeah.
So, and it's quite annoying because I feel like that's definitely what I want to do, but I still get questioned a lot about it. Sort of like, what, you know, why would you want to do it? Well, because I want to do it. Like there isn't really a.
It's the whole thing of like people not understanding that, like, you know, when they say, like, "Oh, why do you want to look like that?" And it's like, well, Sharon, why do you want to look like a puddle?
It's
Like-
always a Sharon. It's always a Sharon or a
It's always
Karen
a
or a
fucking
Claire.
Sharon. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of draws into one of the questions we had was like the negative feedback surrounding like being a female like bodybuilder and stuff. The general, like, I get enough comments just being a dude, but it's usually just like, "Oh, I'm massive, yeah."
Yeah.
All right, yeah, cool, thanks.
So what was the question? Have I had any negative?
Well, yeah, just the experience of like feedback that you have from like kind of Gen Pop, of like, you know, you've talked about people saying like, "Oh, do you really want to do that? Surely you don't want to do that." And then
Yeah, and do you know what? That annoys me because the sport is bodybuilding, and it's perfectly acceptable for everyone else to do all the other divisions that were created after that. But when I want to do something that was the original sport, it's like, oh my God. But it is now at the point, which I didn't get before, but recently when I've been out just with family or friends that don't compete, I never used to get this, but now I'm out and people actually notice it. And I can see, so I was sitting on like in a restaurant in Cardiff, outdoors, and I had like 2 cars go past and they literally wound down their windows. I was like, just like, "How much do you bench?" Or "Fucking massive." So, and I honestly, and the thing is, I can understand because it's not something you see every day on a woman, but if I wouldn't do it to someone if they were overweight, or if do you know what I mean? So that frustrates me. But negative comments, I get it more from men than women.
I was about to say, in terms of that, I think that's more of an insecurity thing than anything. Like for a bloke to sort of hurl abuse at you like that, I think it's because they may feel slightly inferior to the fact that it's not bench more than them. So,
but it's not necessarily like abuse. Like they don't say anything kind of highly offensive, but it's still, you know, or it's usually like just like, "You fucking hench." Do you know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. But I find that I get more positive comments from women, which I was surprised at. I was shocked because but more of the kind of, like, I would say degrading comments have come from men. And I hate it. I think the worst thing I get is, oh, you're actually all right for a female bodybuilder. I just think, like, you wouldn't say that to anyone else. Like,
That's amazing.
do you know what I mean?
Like, they use the fat person analogy. It's like going up to a fatty and going, "You're actually all right for a fatty."
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that does happen, you know. You've got like a full face and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't say it to them.
But I think it's like, most of the comments will come from men, or the most weird one I get a lot, and I wonder if anyone else gets this, is I've had girls before, and they're like, oh, I was showing my boyfriend your profile on Instagram, and he said he would never want to be with someone that muscular. And honestly, I've got that a lot. Like, they tell me, yeah.
I was feeling threatened by you, so I thought I'd basically trap my boyfriend into a situation that he couldn't agree with to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
Turns out I'm hotter than you. Mate, it's fucking amazing. I think the negative comments from the blokes just boils down to the fact that they can't contemplate that you aren't doing something for the sexual desires of men. They just can't understand it.
Yeah.
They just can't. Why would you want to look like that? No one fancies that. I mean, obviously there's a niche that's not true at all, but like, just they can't contemplate. Surely it must be to attract people like me. That must be what.
Yeah, and they always say it like you would, like, they assume that you're interested in them.
Yeah.
Like,
before you jump on my face, before you literally just throw your biff at my eyes, let me just tell you, I'm not into it. I want to get that out of the way because I know I could see the glint in your eye.
What did you call it? You biff.
Biff.
That's it.
Another biff. God damn it.
But yeah, I had the same sort of stuff with you probably don't get as much done because you're just as hench as your missus, so you know you don't get much of that. But like with my previous partner, I was walking on a beach with her, and of course we both had vests on. It was in summer, this, that, the other, and two boys on a bike went past, and you could tell he was joking about it, but the fact he said it, and he said, "Oh, she's got a bigger back than you, mate." But like, I'm the one to fire jokes quick enough back, and I said to him, "Yeah, but she got bigger calves than you, mate." Considering he was riding a bike, you know. The instant reaction I had from that. He got off his bike, he stood up in front of me, and I was like, "Well, mate, don't, you know, don't jump in the fire if you're gonna, you know, journey like." But yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy to think, and like I said, it's 90% that it's the men that actually say about this rather than it being the women. Like the women actually promote it, you know.
Yeah, I get so much positivity from women. I mean, it doesn't bother me anyway. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, regardless of what people say. And I think the UK are just, as a whole, very behind on it compared to the States. Yeah, I feel like it's a lot more.
I think there's a lot more support and sort of camaraderie in the UK scene than over in America. I get the feeling it's a little bit more bitchy over there. Whereas
within the scene, but your average.
Yeah, I mean within bodybuilding itself
has seen 1,000 hench people. It's like not a thing.
That's the thing. I feel like in a gym in America, I feel like it's standard to see about 5 bodybuilders in your standard gym.
Yeah,
but you don't see that.
Of like the bodybuilding industry over here, not forgetting people outside of it, within the industry itself is very supportive of each other, I'd say.
I agree. It was a bit of a tangent.
I thought that's what
I agree.
About it all.
What do you mean, like the support?
If you're talking about from people outside, yeah, over here there's probably more of a disconnect between the bodybuilding industry and general population.
Okay,
that's what we talk about.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why, you see.
That's a good point, Dan. So potentially, because there's such a disconnect, if you are within it, you have to be kind of stronger.
Look after your own.
Yeah. I think
The
that's
Muscle
kind of
Children Orphanage will always be open for you.
My dear child.
Come
But
here,
no,
my
I-
muscle children. Yeah, I just get like I don't know. Some of the messages like Alice gets is just fucking outrageous.
Yeah, it's horrific. I
And
mean,
it's usually involving me as well. Like your boyfriend's not even like that big. You need a real. He's got fake muscles, and like so you definitely need me. And it's like, yeah. In fact, the recent one I think was yesterday. I think I showed it to Rachael, and it was just like, yeah, you need a real man.
it's funny.
Yeah, you need a real man because I'm a real man, and yeah, and like, and Alice was just like, my dad's 6'4", my brother's 6'7", like, the big man thing's like not a thing. It's like it's just normal. Like the fact that you think you're really like tall and massive, even though your profile picture's just a dog, like it's just like, yeah. The barrage is deep. But again, it just goes back to the thing: people can't get it. Surely you're doing all this so that I can bang you. It must be. And women as well. Like I remember going to Ibiza and some woman just came up to me and was like, "Oh my god, you do know you look horrible. Like no one wants that." And I was like, yeah, I mean,
good.
Contrary to your own belief, I actually
Yeah, because you must get it as well.
You either. Yeah, it is weird. It's less with women because I think men are like with the sexualization of absolutely everything on the planet. Women, like men, are programmed to be like everything's about someone wanting to throw their biff at me. It must
But
be.
see, I was talking to another girl about this, who competes in women's bodybuilding, and she hit the nail on the head. She said that as a bodybuilder, you get more attention, but I feel like I'm less respected.
Yeah.
Like that's a horrible feeling, but it's so true. I had more respect from people when I was in bikini. I had more people wanting to, work with me. I had, and then as soon as you get to that point where it becomes not the norm, people kind of treat you as more of an object. It's weird.
So it's a interesting insight. And I'm sure lots of people watching this like are interested in that. I mean, so I'm sure some people just like want to go to the gym and take some photos for Instagram and be #blessed. And we're kind of not really talking about that. We're kind of talking about the next level up. And rest assured, anyone that's at high level in anything they do, does not give a fuck about what other people think.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm saying all this, it doesn't bother me, but because I've got thick skin when it comes to things like that, I do not give a fuck.
Yeah, but
quite frankly,
like with anything, no one would get anywhere in anything if they actually listened to other people, because people can't help themselves but be like, why are you doing that? Well, why don't you just come and waste your life with me? Like, why don't you? You're so boring. So why are you doing the thing that makes you evolve? Why don't you come and just degenerate? Like, why would you? You're so rubbish.
Come sit on the sofa and eat 5 Cornettos.
Yeah, I am up for that now. Like right now.
Sounds good, Alice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people just they haven't seen how I've had to kind of live my life up to this point. Like I've missed, and it doesn't bother me, but I've sat in my car before, like as in like I've been at social events, had to go back to the car, sit in the car, eat a meal, get a litre of water in, go back in. I've missed out on loads of stuff for it, which, now thinking about it, maybe some people would think that's a bit extreme. But I feel like
I like it.
Yeah, I quite like doing it. Would you?
I like it. I can go and have enough self-control to go and enjoy the time with people that are eating and just be like, it's all right. Yeah. And they'll be like, just one. And everyone will say, just one. What's it going to do? And you go, oh, yeah. And then, or someone goes, just have one beer. And sometimes I just go, yeah, cool. Just leave it on the side. Just to save the conversation and stuff. Like,
because you don't want because it's too fun.
Yeah, cool, thanks. Yeah, wicked. Cheers. I don't actually drink it because once any enters in, then literally fucking 0891 fucking hookers, everything fucking.
When was the last time you had a drink, Dan?
5-day coke binge. The first time I got proper pissed was at my wedding. No, my engagement party.
The last time, was that the last time?
Yeah, probably that was last year. I was shitted. But yeah, I was like thrown up the next day.
I
It
would
was horrendous.
love to see a rogue Dan McNabb.
Oh, it's really bad. It's really bad.
Fucking wouldn't.
I did a
Fuck
speech.
that.
I did a speech where I can't remember what I said, and it did get filmed, and I made it be deleted because what was I was like, before I start my shackling to hellhole or something. It wasn't great, and my mum literally just came and removed me. She was like, "That's enough of you."
You know it's bad when your own mother
Yeah,
takes
my mum was like, "I'm
adult child.
disappointed in you. I've managed to stand here with your dad here, and no one's died. You need to get off stage right now." So yeah, it's not a good idea to drink. Should we have a look at some of these questions?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Let me get my spectacles.
Oh.
Did you have a
Going on.
I got one question from a girl that is.
appropriate ones? Yeah.
Oh yeah, not the ones we saw earlier, Rach.
Did you see that one, Jack?
Yeah.
I actually sent it to the boys after you sent it to me, Rach. I was actually shocked.
Well,
I
did
did-
you?
I did-
So did you get the question or did Geraint?
No,
I got
Rachel.
it.
Yeah, Rachel.
Send it
got
to
the question.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what was fucking shocking about it. They directly sent it to her, and I was
I
like,
thought you sent
But
it
it's
to you,
not-
yeah.
"Oh."
But it's not shocking to me.
You
Yeah,
get,
of
that
course.
you get that on the regular, do you?
I've had people ask to drink my bath water.
Oh, legend.
Okay.
Oh,
So that.
Do you test it first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're
Taste
like,
test.
I can see why people would want this. I can see the appeal. I didn't know. We could do that at raffle on Bash Bros. At the end of each session, we do like a lucky dip. You get the bath water, then you drink it, and then the next week we reveal whose it was.
Whose it was.
Yeah.
We'll do it after this one. So you could land Rachel's, but then again, you could also land Dan's.
Yeah, it's worlds apart for want, I think. Apart from the fact I can't get in the bar, so I don't know what we'll have to
we
do.
just collect your shower water from the bottom of your leg.
Oh yeah, see, think tank. That's why you're here, Geraint. That's why you're here. I knew there was a reason.
That'd be a fucking mad ping pong, fucking beer pong game, that would, wouldn't it?
Come on, Gare. What questions then? Hit us off.
Oh, so obviously he was going back to feeling like intimidated. Obviously, this girl wants to be in the same sort of line with training. She's a young girl, and obviously she was just wondering how you sort of, because like you said, you're thick-skinned, didn't you? So when you come into the gym, you do your thing, you get out of there, get your food, meals in, blah, blah, blah. She was just wondering, like, how does she get in that mindset? Like, you know, is it more of a case of just fucking not giving a fuck, or is it just like, you know, is there certain ways she could go in there, train a lot heavier, you know, like sort of progress, if anything, more anything like.
So is it how can she get a better mindset or how can she progress physically?
Yeah, I think that's what primarily what it is the mindset behind it. Like she wants to grow. Like she's a lean girl, very lean girl. She's got a nice, like real tight waist, and like things are there, you know.
Oh, she has, she, yeah?
You sound like you
got
know
nice-
it really well.
Good set on it.
This is what I went into this. I didn't do this.
Nice
I was
girl.
like, she got a really nice.
girl. Just
nice-
terrible arthritis. Just terrible arthritis. I don't know.
No, she's got a nice physique. She got a really nice physique. She hasn't got like good muscle on her yet, but she wants to progress in that, you know. But she just wants to see how you get into a mindset of training hard and doing this.
Okay.
What is your motivation, basically?
So I think the main thing is to not have just too many distractions. You know, you've got to be selfish. I'm not saying cut everyone out. That's not what I'm saying at all. You do need like people around you who get you. I don't like the word like positive people, but I think you need people around you who understand you and understand your goal. But when you go into that gym, I mean, if you see me train, I don't really talk to people unless I'm training with someone. You know, you've got to detach yourself from any dramas in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Any social things going on, because at the end of the day, if you want to take this seriously, then you need to go in as an athlete, don't you? So I would say just go in, have a plan, know what you're going to do. And also with everything else. So know what you're going to do every day with your food. Just always plan ahead, prep ahead. I don't know if it's quite hard to answer that question because I don't really know.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, no, she was basically, because obviously she's lost, and obviously this is initially what I said to her. I was like, just get a coach first. Get a coach. Get on a plan. Get on a training plan, a diet plan. Get training and follow it and see where it takes you. And if it takes you further, so be it. But she wanted to hear it from a woman's perspective, because obviously being a man and you tell her do this, do that, do that. Then,
yeah, you've got to be.
You know,
I mean, it's mainly with women. They don't seem to be as like, I feel like they get themselves involved with too many other situations rather than just focusing on the task at hand.
yeah, yeah.
I'm-
You
what
do
were
Honestly,
you-
everything.
give yourself a time limit.
Yeah,
Give yourself a fucking time limit. If you're going in shooting the shit for fucking an hour before you start or whatever, like we all do it, we all chat some shit afterwards
Yeah.
or whatever, but give yourself a fucking time limit. You're in there and you fuck it off. Like, ban yourself from your phone. Your phone banned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can waste an extra half an hour, like, going through your phone. I don't get why people, the phone, I've covered it loads of times. But,
Rule number
like,
7, bud. Rule number
like,
7.
do you know what I mean? Like, fair enough, like, change the tunes or whatever if you're playing music, but ban yourself from the phones, from the distractions. Like, I can literally like get a text and whip me out in one fucking text, whip me out the fucking game.
yeah, because you're thinking about what's on the other. Yeah,
Thinking
mean,
about
you-
I need to finish the session. I'm now thinking about the end of the session. Whereas when I'm in the session, it's like a different fucking world. The only thing that matters, and it sounds fucking extreme,
yeah,
but the only thing in my life that matters when I'm doing it is that thing. And that's
totally agree.
That's meditation. That's my meditation, that's my freedom from all the other shit that I deal with day to day. I'm not saying like I have a hard life. Everyone's got, shit. I'm not saying anything weird like that. I'm just saying that that's your time. Like,
yeah,
you should value that time and not let other people, like, if you can find like-minded people to come and fuck shit up with you, then fucking wicked.
well, yeah, that's why, because when we've trained together, the chat is at the beginning, but when we get in there, we just do it. Do you know what I mean? It's one exercise after the other. There's no.
Yeah,
I mean, we can have it. It's pace. Yeah, exactly. It's minimal rest. It's getting the job done, getting it done, recover.
Yeah, a lot of people struggle like with that. When I put people through sessions, like they're throwing up because they're used to having 5-10 minutes between
rest. Yeah.
And then when I'm saying, I do my session in an hour, and I only do 5 or 6 active like sets, people are like, oh my god, how do you do it? Come and play one time. I mean, Rachel's done a few sessions. She knows I'm not fucking about.
No.
People are like, what? You only train for? I was like, yeah, like 3 hours a week. And
We
like,
did legs in 45 minutes before.
Yeah.
It's enough.
Yeah.
You just gotta not be a pussy.
Is that how you typically train them, Rachel?
Yeah, I do not like long sessions. I like intensity, minimal rest. And my training's changed a lot at the moment. I've gone kind of, yes, I still lift heavy, but heavy is relevant. But it's much more important to me to feel everything in the muscle. So if that means that I'm only doing lat raises with up to like 10s, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm finding I'm growing off that better, actually, training like that.
Yeah, I think as well, like some people can get away with throwing stuff around for certain body parts, but for your weaker areas and stuff like squats, getting heavy squats, like I could lift loads of heavy shit, did nothing. My back and stuff, I can actually just lift some heavy shit and stuff happens. Although we did back, didn't we? And there's a lot of drop sets and shit in there. But yeah, if as you get to a certain, everyone's like strength, as you follow strength, and then once you're there, the progressive overload should be experienced or at least explored with tempo changes, feel changes, like foot position, like not just slamming forever. I think that was it.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, you train.
Jack trains for 7 days.
He's
training right now.
That's got nothing to do with.
He's doing leg extensions right now because he couldn't finish a 7-hour session in time.
That was a little
The gym
bit
closed.
I was a little bit quicker today, Dan. I was like 4.5, I think.
I always preach it though, but like every time I see Jack put a poster, there's always progression within him. So you know what I mean. Whether he takes 3 hours, 2 hours.
Yeah,
4,
but again,
8
ultimately,
hours.
it's not a choice. Like, I wouldn't be in there for that long if I had a choice.
No, true. But you
No.
asked. I know you've got problems and you've got like little issues and stuff.
Yeah,
but
I got
you were-
problems, mate. Fucking hell.
No, problems.
We all have, mate.
RDLs and all of them.
Hey, Hey, Dan, I RDL today and I didn't pop my hip once.
Fucking hell.
I
That's
know.
amazing. I think that if you could come and do what we did, which is you get one shot and
Yeah.
know that you could execute that shot without having anything going on, you wouldn't be in there very long.
No, of course I wouldn't. Ideally, I'd be done in like an hour or so, hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think there's a point in every session. I can feel it sometimes when I train with other people, and I get to a point and I'm just like, the level of intensity that I'm at now
Just going scale.
isn't what's going to help me. This isn't what's going to help me, and I've struggled with that. I found the bigger I get, the more of an impact that is as well. Anyway, sorry. Let's. I have another question. It just said advice either of you. I mean, she obviously doesn't know there's more than just us. Would give yourself when first competing. Is there anything that the 12-year-old you, or however old you were in 2018?
So I did my first show actually wasn't now, but my first show was not many people know about because I tend not to post it because I look shit.
Yeah, but it makes for a better transformation, so you should.
So I did UKBFF, and I think I was 17, nearly 18. It was when Jamie was doing it, I think. So it was quite a while ago, or it might have been the year before. I can't. But anyway, I would give advice when first starting. Just don't look at social media, basically.
Would you have rather have deleted that show from your life?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you think maybe there was a rush to do that?
Yeah, I think I started the gym. I started to see like girls competing in bikini, and I just thought I still did all right. It wasn't, but for me, how I envisioned myself looking, it wasn't what I wanted to look like. So yeah, I would say don't rush, take your time. And now I wish, I just taken longer, because I think if I'd taken longer to start competing, I probably would have started off in figure if I'd taken more time.
Yeah.
So, and I probably would have felt a bit more rewarding for me. But yeah, just take your time. Don't look at social media, because people are only going to post their best.
Yeah. And then you see yourself at your worst, don't you? So
yeah,
you're comparing your worst to someone else's best.
Yeah.
And also this is going to sound horrible, but I don't think competing is for everyone.
I think not. Too many people compete when it's not for them, and then they end up resenting the sport. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Then there's the post that comes where it's like balance. We still move, and actually they're just scored.
What do you hate more? We still move, or this emoji? Which one?
Or
do you
blessed.
I think blessed.
Hashtag blessed is obviously
this the number one.
This or we move. I can't decide which one I hate more. They fucking both boil me.
What is this black? No,
it's not that. It's Italian.
This
Who's
thing.
doing that?
What is it?
Who does that? Is that a thing now?
No, I know what you mean, Jack. It's a finger emoji.
I used it.
No, not that.
I used it the other day. I'm sorry, Jack.
Yeah, get off the
I
fucking
used it.
podcast.
Oh, fuck.
All right, I'm going to be looking out for this now, but no doubt it's going to fuck me off.
But I don't think it's for everyone, and it annoys me because then, as you said, they take to social media, give the sport a bad name, but also then I think that's where, and it is primarily women who have all these eating problems and eating disorders. I'm not saying that that's not true, and that should still be taken seriously, but I feel like they went into it with a bad relationship with food anyway. If you haven't got a strong mindset and you aren't already eating clean and kind of doing the training and being an athlete, I feel like it's the people that just suddenly switch into doing a show.
Yeah.
Well, they do it because it's
Yeah.
fashionable, and then
Yeah.
they end
Yeah.
up never competing again. Some of them end up not even like training again.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
not realistic, because they're just seeing these girls with the after picture with the box of cookies and the picture in their boyfriend's arms after they've won a show. They're not seeing how, do you know what I mean?
Didn't
It's
see how
hard
that
it's
boyfriend
very,
wasn't able to knob her for 6 months because she was such a moody cunt.
No, they don't see like what goes into it, and it's not for everyone. And the sport is just, I mean, it's good for the sport because I guess more people are competing.
Well,
So,
like you said, it's more
but-
these people that are using the social media barrier when it's like, because they see it on social media, they want to be, that's what they want their profile to look like as well. So like you get people that do compete, and like you said, Rich, it's like they're not 100% going into it. Like they're not bringing their best to going into it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not being harsh here, but I understand where you're coming from with like how they are taking all this like social media base and going, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that, then fuck themselves up, and then come back from it and then go, fuck, that was shit, and not enjoy the actual process of going through the, you know what I mean, go through the whole layers of competing and stuff. Right?
I mean, what I say to younger people that want to jump on stage like quickly or do quick turnaround shows, and this was a question that came up quite recently for me as a coach, and I answered with, you're only as good as your last show. So why would you if you're going to put another show and your plan is to do a show after that, a lot of the time it's beneficial to just skip that middle one and make sure that you've progressed, because that other show's coming anyway, and then as soon as it is, you may as well delete the other ones. And that's whether you get better or worse. You're only as good as your last show. That's why people need to give up before they dwindle. But also, like, unless competing's like your thing, like you love getting on stage, like that's absolutely what you live for, is that stage time, and you really want that and really want experience. Wait enough time so that when you look at last time's pictures, it's night and day. The difference is, do you know what I mean? Obviously, later in bodybuilding, those get less. But if you're just starting out, like a year's difference progression, if you're doing it, should be like fuck. You know, it should be a huge thing. A huge thing.
Yeah.
I did have another question, but I can't really figure out whether it makes any sense. What can I tell myself when I'm depleted and look like sucked out shit to keep me going?
It's coming.
That's not from me, by the way.
okay.
I think it's talking about motivation.
Just crack on, Buttercup.
Yeah, I really struggle with like giving advice on the motivation side, because I can't. I've never not been pushed to do something in my head. I've never been demotivated.
Yeah.
So I find it hard if people are asking for motivation. I think I just think you've got it or you haven't.
Yeah. But also, don't you think that motivation actually is a bit of a farce?
Yeah.
I don't wake up every morning and be like, yeah! You know, it's easy for you. You've got motivation. Yeah, I just fucking spring out of bed and I'm like, ah! Like, literally, I prize myself out of bed, like, from whatever towels I'm stuck to, and then wonder whether I've actually died and this is all a horrible nightmare. And then the programming does the rest. Jesus fucking Christ. What do you want, mate? You all right?
Good size of him.
I know, he's a fucking monster.
Aw.
Sit down, Papa. Good boy.
Well, sit down, Papa.
Yeah, so I think that that motivation is something that people think we have a lot of, but actually I just have so many years in the bank and so much dedication to this thing that I'm already there. Should I go to the gym? I'm already here.
It's just programmed in you, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, like the idea of eating some shit out of a Tupperware is really not something I need to actually even contemplate. It's already happened. You know, and I've programmed my life enough so that it's actually easier for me to just go to the fridge and get a meal than phone McDonald's. Like, I've made it easy for me. So most people, and this is what I say, most people are fucking lazy. So the reason they go get McDonald's is because they can't be fucked to do anything. If you just plan a little bit ahead, then it's easier for you to go and eat your prep meal in the fridge, and you'll take that, you know? It is usually laziness, like, and preparation. But yeah, we're not teeming with fucking motivation. I'm nearly fucking 40 years old. I haven't got fucking anything left in me, just tears of a life lost.
That's depressing.
You know, I just
Fucking hell.
like the idea. Oh, it's easy for you. You're always in the gym. I do have to actually like get there. I don't have a special teleport system that like gets me there. I don't live under the stairs. You're always in the gym. Yeah, that's because I always go to the gym. How you what? Yeah, so I think it's another thing that people think that people have because they're doing well at something, but we don't have any more motivation than you, I don't think. We just actually do something about it. We go, oh, we want to do that, and then we actually just do it rather than go dreaming about how much we'd want to do it, which I think is what a lot of people do, which is called social tourism. And it's one of the reasons that rap music was so popular. You don't have to be a gangster to listen to gangster rap. You just go on a little tour of bitches and blunts and 40s. And that's okay. And I think people do that with bodybuilding as well. They go on a little social tourism thing and they forget that most of the time it's just you lying on a bin bag wishing you'd died.
Yeah. I think people glamorize it a lot. I mean,
Well,
it's fun and I love it. And it's like, you know, I think if, you know, I really enjoy show day, but it's not all glamorous.
Think of the percentage of your life that's show day.
Exactly.
It's literally like my whole life is probably like my whole competing, like I don't want to call it a career because it's not, but my whole time competing is probably like an hour, stage time for like, you know what I mean? I could have just joined Pontins and done cabaret and got more stage time, like infinite more. I might do that still, actually. If it all goes wrong, me and Rach can do a freak show at Pontins.
Men.
Sick. Did anyone else have any questions before this
Yeah.
gets drier than a nun's jockstrap?
There was another one where, so obviously, from where you've progressed to now, Rach, is there like weak spots that you sort of pointed out on yourself that you were working on right now?
Ooh.
Yeah, so I think for me, you're right.
Just fanning myself.
I'm fucking melting in here right now.
I think for me, because I hate like relying on my age too much, but because I am still young, I think my muscle is still maturing quite a lot. So I think for me, it's just getting denser, putting on more size everywhere, because I feel like I'm quite balanced. I don't feel like I have any like standout weak spots. Right. Obviously I have them, but I don't think they're that easy to spot. So I think for me, just growing all over, just continue to put on quality size. And I would say if I had to pick two weaker areas, which I am paying slightly more attention to, it'd be my calves and my triceps, because I feel like
cares about calves. They can't even see them on stage, so it doesn't even matter.
That's
every part matters.
Exactly.
I'm gonna.
That's such a natty thing to say, Jack.
The judges cannot see your calves on stage, so why do?
Yeah, but you'll know. I know, and I know the pain of having shit calves.
Yeah. So calves and triceps, I feel like my triceps from like when I look at myself side on, they need more roundness, more pop, more of a 3D look, but it'll come.
Yeah.
It has
to. It has to. Mostly of it has come.
I think that's the mindset I've got, is I don't, because I'm putting like my life and soul into this, I don't have a fucking choice. Like I've got to make this happen. And that's what I've told myself all the time moving forward, is that I'm giving a lot to this sport. So I want to make sure I'm getting the results I deserve from it.
And you've got the time to do it.
I love it.
You've got the time to do it. You've got people around you that know what they're fucking doing. There is no reason. Someone's got to come and go to the Olympia. May as well fucking be you. Do you know what I mean? Like someone's got to do it. And I think that you being young and part of a scene like now, yeah, there are good parts of like social media for networking and meeting people and stuff like that. That's probably like some of the good stuff of like knowing which gyms to go and stuff like that. Like I had no idea about bodybuilding, didn't know fucking anything. I knew like one guy, and he wasn't even that big. And he told me to pose, and it was all wrong. What the fuck are they doing? Sorry, the dogs are being really weird. I think it's because Alice is away. She's obviously like doing
How
some
are you
weird.
surviving, Dan?
No,
Fucking not gonna
Oh
lie,
my
mate.
God. Have you seen his stories? I can't go
It's-
with them.
Wait, literally, the only time I go on Instagram is just to see if Dan has posted something.
I
That's
can't.
literally all I go to for now.
Dan, I couldn't fucking live with you. What the heck?
Well, I
I
don't know this.
bet she was kicking off about you putting a plate in the bin the other day.
Luckily, the one person that never watches my stories
Is it Alice?
is
Yeah,
Alice.
fair. She's
That's
clever.
all right. But she is one of the people that will get annoyed if I don't watch her story. And I'm like, oh, you're fucking here. You're here. You made the story there. I watched you make the story. And then there was the story. I'm not going to then go and view the story. I saw the story unveiling in front of my eyes already. Apparently it's a thing. You didn't like my picture. Fuck off. I don't like you in real life. Yeah, it's been difficult. And the boys haven't been walking, so I don't know what the fuck they're destroying now. Probably a priceless family heirloom. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
I think that's time, innit?
Oh my fucking! Do we have no more questions?
I don't think we do. No, is there any more?
I mean, I had.
You have
Yeah,
questions?
did you have
They
any,
sent
Rach?
them to you, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had. It was quite. I had one which was, how are you so jacked and tanned? So we won't do that one.
Well, it's just
Well, I
quite
think that
obvious.
we've covered that. I think it's.
I think that we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the other one was quite similar to one you had, which is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, unless someone else wants to take that.
No, I think it's directed at you, really. So,
But I kind of answered.
So
Yeah.
just jumping on that, when are you next thinking of competing? Are you taking the whole year off now, or as in like next year you taking it off, or?
I am gonna start prep next year.
Right.
So I'm really want to do. I mean, I'm gonna have to do another regional next year in the UK first, but I've really got my sights set on the Romania Muscle Fest in November.
Because
So-
that's pushing the female bodybuilding side quite a lot, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
probably that's one of the biggest shows for it. So that'll be really good.
And that's why I want to do it, because I feel like it's a show that'll be very suited to me. And it's good timing as well. It gives me enough time to have a long enough productive off season. And then I'll probably start prep. I mean, I gave myself 20 weeks last time, but we've chatted and I don't think we're going to need that long. So probably maybe 17, 16 week prep into that, because I'm going to try and stay leaner this time round. I don't feel like I'm going to put on much more body fat. So
Do you think that as a woman you need to train differently as a man than a man? As a man? When you're a woman, when you turn into a man, do you have to train different? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, because I predominantly trained with men, and I trained the same as them. So no.
It's as good an answer as any.
I just don't. I think it's just about finding what suits you best. But I think just about training. I think remembering that we're bodybuilders, we're not weightlifters.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. When you need to be feeling it in the muscle fibers properly, executing everything properly. But training, I don't think it matters what sex you are. I think I train the same as, I've trained with you. I've trained with predominantly men throughout my career. So.
But have you trained with Jack Thorburn?
I haven't.
I've pussied out
grueling
multiple times.
experience.
And you need to book a day out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the time for that.
You need to book annual leave
I'll have to have like. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
It is coming down. It's coming down.
I got. Oh, do you know what? I have a bit of funny story for you because it made me laugh. So apparently you were training the other day somewhere, and you were on the leg extension or something, and you set your tripod up to film it,
Right.
and you press record, and you turned around, and basically my friend was there at the gym, and she went and turned the recording off.
Do you know what? Some fucker did. I knew some fucker did that the other day. And I was thinking to myself, there's no fucking way someone had the bollocks to do that. I knew someone had, and I was like, there's no way someone had the balls to do that. No
So she turned the recording off, and when you got off, you looked so confused. You thought you just forgot to press it.
Because I was I knew I pressed it. I was like, what the fuck? I knew I had. Fair play
That's
to her.
fucking amazing. Obviously,
Fuck,
thou
man.
shall not be named, but whoever you are, I
Legend.
salute you.
Good on you.
I salute
Oh,
you.
Jack.
Jax genuinely can't even like curl a mouth over the situation. Oh, there's nothing that gives me more joy than
I don't even know what to say, really.
that is fantastic.
You've gone red, Jack. You've gone red.
You're actually almost the same colour as
That's
me.
just awful. That's just a few hours in the sun yesterday, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a few decades living on the
Yeah,
sun.
Dan, you got a bit red as well, mate.
I'm sweating the fuck out. I'm not going to lie. I'm in the paint cupboard like fucking Andy Peters in 1995.
Even in the winter, you looking like that.
I'm fucked. There are no windows. There is no windows. This is where it's at.
Hey, Rachel, you better tell her she fucking needs to watch herself.
Oh, mate. Mate, if I wasn't taken, I'd marry her on the spot, like right now.
Because I must have been having a good day.
You would
If I
have
was-
kicked right off.
If I was having a bad day,
Yeah,
I'd fucking gone nuts.
It was the only set that he'd managed to complete in 4 months. She didn't even let him document
But it was like
to the
when she
ground.
was explaining to me, like the confusion on your face,
Oh,
like
sounds.
oh.
The only thing that could have made that better is the moment that she pressed stop recording on his, she started recording on hers. That's the only thing that could have made that better.
Oh.
Rach, what's your favourite exercise for each body part? For all the
Okay.
ladies out there.
So, shoulders, side laterals, dumbbells.
Is that
Chest.
Lisa's influence? Because she loves a drop set of laterals.
Yeah, and Lisa used to make me do lateral raises every day
Yeah, at the end
to
of it.
bring my
yeah.
shoulders up at the end of every session. So I think that is why now my shoulders are probably like one of the stronger parts.
Yeah.
Chest, I like a decline machine press. I don't really do a lot of incline anymore for chest. I do mainly decline and flat because I feel like I'm just using my shoulders too much on incline.
Right.
Back, probably like a T-bar row. Legs, leg extension for quads, leg curl for hamstrings. And if we're going to go like a compound movement for the whole leg, I'd say like a hack squat or a V squat.
Okay.
Is that every body part?
Arms.
Arms.
Oh, I love arms.
You love a dumbbell curl, don't you, for buys?
I love a dumbbell curl for arms.
Yeah.
I love
If you were desert island, you could only do one exercise. What would you take with you? And not equipment wise, you were literally like paralyzed in every way. I can see Jack's mind is moving.
No,
Yeah.
because you're going to do exactly what you did last time, Dan.
No, I can't because that was
Get
equipment
multiple
based.
bits of equipment so I can do
That's
everything.
equipment based.
I'm
This
going to
is,
get a multi-attachment cable station so I can do everything.
mate. No, this is literally. You've only got the neurological connections to do one exercise.
Press ups.
Press up.
Yeah.
You can take. You
Here we
can.
go.
You can. All the
What,
equipment
you can-
there. You've got a super gym, but your neurological connection will only allow you to do one exercise. The rest of
Right.
it, you just if you
Bench.
try and do anything else, you just turn into a puddle.
Bench
Bench.
or dips. Bench or dips. One of the two.
What are you allowed to
That
use
sounds like
equipment?
two things.
One
I mean-
of the two.
I'd love to say I don't make the rules, but I do. And there's one thing. You get one thing. It's very simple.
Can you have equipment?
Yeah, you've got a multi-jit, anything you want. You're literally in ultra flex.
But you could only do one thing.
You can only do one thing.
Okay. A glute kickback. I would say a dumbbell chest press.
Nice.
Come
I
on,
don't know
Karen,
why,
hit us up,
but-
mate.
You get a nice pump from it.
Fucking
And you said equipment. You can pick any equipment.
anything.
On-
You've got the gym, everything. Everything's
Squat.
there. But you can actually physically. You've picked up
That's squat.
some weird sort of plague. There's been some sort of like
Oh, no, I
tuberculosis.
changed. I changed
Fucking
my mind.
yeah, you'll be walking
Leg
around with a
press.
flat chest, mate.
Leg press. I don't give a fuck about top half, man. I love
Leg
leg day.
press.
Like, fucking love leg day. Yeah, it's gonna be leg press. Yeah, pick leg press over that. Definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, I take a leg press with me.
Think about it again. You can do a bench press, right? And if you benched enough, you've got an isometric contraction in your legs going on,
Oh, here we
like
fucking
pushing
go.
through the floor. You could do a calf raise whilst you're doing the bench.
No, you
press.
haven't got the neurological connection.
Dan, you do this to stabilize on
Jack.
the bench press. You're
Jack,
doing the
it's-
bench press movement. You
Jack,
do a
it's too
calf
warm.
raise when you're benching.
It's
you
too warm
have
to do
calves.
this.
You get triceps from pressing. You get shoulders from pressing. You get everything. I'm winning this guy. Bench press. You can rock around with your quads out and looking like shit top front.
So yeah, I would pick a leg press, Dan.
I'm not gonna lie. I do think that's a pretty terrible choice.
Really?
Yeah.
But I think I can't not do legs though. That's like
But I just wouldn't. Why wouldn't you choose a squat?
leg squat, yeah, but that's my fucking knees up on it all these days.
What?
And my knees just go on and squat these
Hey.
days.
I think if you're in this magical island, like you've only got one thing, you've got enough time to like. You'd be alright. There'd be someone you could get some deep tissue or something. You know?
Alright, yeah.
Well,
Some
see,
sand.
You can,
Alright,
you
I'm
can
not
only
gonna
do
convi-
one
I'm-
exercise, but you can get deep tissue whenever you want.
Yeah, mate. Literally, no, you're just paralyzed. I told you, you got some weird sort of like tuberculosis. Like you got bitten by a Venus flytrap, and now you're like quadrispasmed on a life glug, and you can only do one move. It's a pretty good premise for
What
a
are you doing
film.
then? A squat.
Huh? I'm
What
gonna
are
do
you
a squat. I'm gonna do a squat. Just because it's everything. Anyway, this leads us very nicely into 5 top tips. Oh, that was good. Look, I did top. Fucking, I'm
That is
gonna
good.
nail it one day. It's gonna be fucking sick. So,
Yeah.
Rachel, you gotta give 5
Oh,
top
God.
tips. That's I've nailed it. Fuck.
Right. I would just say they set a specific goal to start with. You know, it has to be very, very specific in what you want to achieve. Stay focused. Number 2, they sound really like cheesy, don't they?
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that, but it's true.
It can
Yeah.
either be
There's
cheesy.
no bullshit around it.
The ones that aren't cheesy are generally also just shit. So like we've had loads of shit ones.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's all right. We'll make them all into memes. A screenshot of your face. Just make them all into memes.
Stay focused. They sound cheesy because I've never had to think about this myself. Do you know what I mean? I just do it. Jesus Christ.
It is hard, isn't it?
It's hard.
It is hard.
It is
We
hard.
try. We've tried to do it.
We've done it.
I
numerous
can't.
times.
I don't have 5 thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
ever. So
Mate, I came up with middle lane drivers last week. It was fucking terrible.
what?
Remember, I come up with a top tip on our non-guest podcast.
Oh yeah.
Middle lane drivers I came up with. Don't
Yeah.
do it.
So it doesn't have.
I
Doesn't
would
have to be
say-
related.
I would say a good, like, don't take criticism of people who you wouldn't go to for advice.
Solid.
I think
That's
that is-
fucking good.
That's one that I've kind of-
unsolicited advice from
Mhm.
nobody's.
Yeah, and that happens all the time. They like to drop their opinions in, but you just gotta,
Yeah, it's true actually. You see a lot of people will actually like ask your opinion about something and then quickly like do a Google and be like, haha, so and so says that you're wrong. And actually all they've done to ask your opinion for is to just basically try and find someone else's opinion.
Well,
There's always a
ask-
fucking opposing opinion.
They ask your opinion to voice their own half the time.
Well, yeah, most of the time people ask you something to enforce their own idea that they already have. And if you don't, they're like, yeah, and then just disappear. But if you, like, all they're looking for is just, like, it's like, yeah, the thing is I do carb backloading in after training, and then I'm keto, and, like, ketosis happens in 45 seconds, and that's why I'm so ripped. And then you go, and they go, so what do you think about that? And you go, well, I think all of that shit. And they go, I'm going to be over here.
We nearly went a full episode without a Dan ramble.
No, we didn't.
We nearly did.
No, I don't think we were anywhere near. All right, so are you going to give up? There's a forfeit.
No. My fourth.
No, there's a forfeit. If you can't think of them, there's a forfeit.
Oh, jeez.
Just play along, guys. Yeah.
Oh,
so you don't want to do the forfeit because it's
bad.
It's so bad.
Okay, let me think.
What have you? How many have you done? 3.
I've done 3. I would say the fourth is kind of just just be confident in what you can do and your abilities, because at the end of the day, when I started out in bikini, let's face it, I probably wasn't taken very seriously. And I feel like that happens to a lot of women in the industry. Is that they don't feel like you're pigeonholed. If you want to progress, you can progress. Don't feel like you're pigeonholed to a certain category. Have confidence in that you can move up and achieve what you want. And the last one, just like be aware that this sport requires, if you want to go far in it, it requires a huge sacrifice. And I think a lot of people are like very naive to that. And they don't get it. Like, I've been to events, especially like because I've been doing some judging at the moment, and people have said, it's their life, they take it seriously, blah, blah. Then you see them at things like judging events, body power, things like that. And it's like, where are your meals? Do you know what I mean? Like, where's your supplements? Where's your water? And then they wonder why they don't place well. Yeah. So I just think you need to know how much this sport requires of you in order to do well. And I'm not saying I'm the best, but that's the mindset I've had.
It's to even be in with a shot.
Yeah.
People on Instagram, the new thing as well is to make shit look easy. Oh, I didn't do any cardio. I didn't do that. I didn't do this. And everyone's trying to like, it's like mumble rap. It's like mumble rap, like being good at something. So now we have mumble rap, which is basically an expression of I can't be fucked to be a musician. And we just have that, like, not caring. It's like, or hashtag balance, or don't beat yourself up, or whatever. Like, there's no balance. If you want to actually do this properly, there's no fucking balance. No. I've created an illusion that what I do might be balanced.
It's balanced for you.
Yeah.
If that makes
it's not bad, and I forget what I do day in, day out because I've just done it for so long. But for someone else moving into it, it's absolutely like, it's like they say, oh, it's a lifestyle, like that's like harder, but once you make it a lifestyle, it's actually easier. If you're trying to flick flack between it, you can't make it work. If you allow it to impact a little bit all of your life, then it actually is easier rather than struggling to do like everything, cook your meals fresh or whatever. A little bit of preparation can make it easier than just doing normal shit. I love knowing what I've got to eat tomorrow. It removes any of that thought. I don't have to think about tomorrow or whatever, or a time where I was like, what shall I cook or whatever. Even just, the people that whinging like, oh, my wife or whatever can never decide what to have for dinner. Well, don't worry, because I don't give a shit what she's having for dinner, because I'm having fucking steak or whatever, and she can just eat fucking sawdust for all I care. I like it, but a transition from like normality like to that, there's not really a balance. And I don't think someone looking at a photo of Instagram of you like sitting next to a pool when you live somewhere with a pool is showing anyone about anything about balance other than you can sit next to a pool. But it seems to be this new thing where they're preaching this, like, it doesn't fucking exist, especially not for like actual bodybuilders.
I think that would be my final one, is that people are trying to kind of like overthink or like outthink doing the hard work. You know,
singing off my hymn sheet there. That's like, do you get me? My fucking, that is my mating call. I literally, I say that all the time. Like, people are trying to outthink, out fucking sleep, out fucking melatonin, being a fucking pussy. And I say this shit all the time. You can't. It has to be hard. The whole reason it works is because it's fucking hard. It's not hard and thus it works. To get a response out of something, it has to be hard.
Yeah.
It's almost conceptually, I almost go mad saying it because it's so fucking obvious. Like, there is no easy way to do something that has to be hard.
Yeah. So I think like with the tip of when I said like be focused, to kind of elaborate on that, is be focused in the right things. You know, stop being focused on what your whey protein tastes like.
Fuck, we had this as well.
You know, we had this debate, didn't we, Dan? And start being more focused on, you know, executing your training sessions, your basics, your foundations. You know, don't get hung up in pre-workout taste tests.
Hey, keep having fucking dabs at me, Dan.
Sorry.
They're always the fucking same. Every taste test goes like this. Oh yeah, that's all right. Yeah, yeah, that's all right. Like, they're just always. What are you gonna do? Like, fuck. That tastes like fucking ground babies.
It's true though, isn't it? You need to put your focus into the right things. I think people put their energy so much into the wrong things in this sport now, and then the bodybuilding has become a second.
Yeah.
You know, don't be, you know, kind of blurred by the social media image of it all.
Yeah, I think people like the excitement. Retail, people get excited about the idea of bodybuilding, and something that can go along with the idea of bodybuilding, which is very exciting and sometimes enough, you know, exciting for people, and the idea of bodybuilding, and then buying something to enhance that idea, like, is an instant gratification, and for some people that is enough. And if that's enough, that's cool. If you get a kick, if you get a kick out of that, that's absolutely fine. But don't do that and then expect to like be a champion bodybuilder. That's not going to happen. It goes, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, most people I know who do well, you know, they're not, you know, they're focused. They're in their own lane. And all of those things are just an add-on. Do you know what I mean? They are doing the hard work. They're putting the hours in. And then if you want to post a picture of your meal or post a picture of your shake, you're doing it as an extra.
Rachel, I used to like you. I
Sorry,
really
Jack.
used to like you.
No, but Jack,
really
you've got.
Look, it's just that all of the top tips
Rachel,
are basically saying, don't be. That does,
yeah. Don't be a pussy. Don't be natty.
Yeah. Don't wear the same vest for 4 months.
That's not a worse one, Dan.
Fuck yeah, we're going in on him now.
Just say thanks for coming on. Now fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you come to India?
Anyway, okay. So, Rachel, thank you very much for coming on. I'm sure plenty of people, especially within the female sort of side of it, will find that very useful. So thank you very much for your time. Have you got anyone you'd like to sort of you're not affiliated with anything. Are you affiliated with anyone in terms of sponsors or anything like that? So
It's always a fucking minefield.
You know, but who knows? When you go out to Romania, obviously that's a massive show. There could be something could come of that. You never know. So, but yes, you haven't got anyone to thank or anything.
Who took your T-shirt just there?
I know, what was that?
Your T-shirt just disappeared. Ah!
Valentine's.
That was brilliant.
That was brilliant. I'll have that. That's why.
Someone's turning your videos off. Someone's nicking your T-shirts. It's fucking all going on in Jackson, bro.
Yeah.
Ghosting you.
All right, look, peace out, Rach. Thanks for
thank you,
for
Rich.
giving us the time to
It's
chat.
all right.
And we'll sort another training session out soon.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much, Rach.
Yeah, thank you.
5 tips. Yeah. See? I got it.
End of that.
Smashed it.